Psychology shows us that the human mind is far stranger and more powerful than we realize. Imagine making decisions every single day, thinking you are fully in control, only to discover that most of your judgments are driven by invisible forces, split-second intuitions, hidden biases, and emotional impulses you don't even notice. What if I told you that the way you perceive people, trust friends, or even choose your career is largely shaped by your brain's autopilot, making you believe you are rational while your instincts quietly lead the way? In social life, first impressions, stereotypes, and the relentless search for approval act like invisible currents, pushing you toward choices you barely understand. And when we gather in groups, collective reasoning can collapse under the weight of conformity and fear, making intelligent communities make catastrophic mistakes. But here's the exciting part. By understanding these hidden patterns, by becoming aware of the split between intuition and reflection, you can reclaim control, make authentic decisions, and see the social world with clarity few ever achieve. This is the power Daniel Kahneman revealed. The mind is not just a thinking machine, it's a battlefield of instincts and reason, and your awareness is the key to mastering it. Every interaction, every decision, every judgment becomes an opportunity to rise above autopilot and truly understand yourself and the world around you. Are you ready to see your mind like never before? Call them our lightning-fast judgments that help us decide in seconds whether a person is trustworthy, competent, or aligned with our own group. The shocking part is that these shortcuts are often biased, relying on first impressions, stereotypes, and social signals that have little to do with reality. A subtle gesture, a tone of voice, even the color someone wears can trigger judgments that feel instantaneous and inevitable, yet are entirely unconscious. We convince ourselves we are being rational, but our perception is filtered through these invisible lenses. Group identities amplify this effect. Suddenly, our brain is not only evaluating an individual, but comparing them to the norms, behaviors, and status of the group they belong to. This can create powerful in-group favoritism and out-group prejudice before we even have a chance to think, explain, or question it. What's terrifying is how effortless and automatic this process is. Social misjudgments, biases, and even discrimination are baked into the way we see each other, all happening beneath the surface of conscious thought. Every handshake, smile, or nod is being interpreted through these heuristics, shaping our behavior, decisions, and social interactions in ways we rarely notice, yet influence us profoundly. Psychology exposes a truth most people refuse to admit. Our emotions are not just responses to life, they are the hidden rulers of it, especially in social interactions. Every handshake, every conversation, every fleeting glance is filtered through a lens of emotion, long before logic has a chance to weigh in. Empathy, trust, jealousy, fear, and admiration are not optional extras. They are the drivers of our decisions, silently nudging us toward cooperation or conflict. The shocking reality is that even when we think we are reasoning carefully, our emotional system has already made the first call, deciding who to approach, who to avoid, and who to trust, often in milliseconds. This means that much of our social life is orchestrated by impulses we barely recognize, guiding alliances, rivalries, and relationships with invisible strings. Our reflective, rational mind may attempt to justify these choices after the fact, but it is rarely in control at the crucial moment. The way we respond to someone's tone, expression, or posture can trigger cascades of emotional reactions that shape our judgment, sometimes leading to misunderstandings, conflicts, or surprisingly generous acts of cooperation. Emoji. Ons amplify social cues, magnify biases, and even override moral reasoning, making us act in ways that seem inexplicable to outsiders or even to ourselves. Understanding this is both fascinating and terrifying because it reveals that the apparent rationality of our social decisions is often a carefully constructed illusion, with emotion quietly pulling the strings, shaping human behavior in ways that are immediate, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Psychology uncovers a harsh truth: our judgments of others are rarely objective, and the biases lurking in our minds distort reality in ways we barely notice. Every evaluation we make about a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger is filtered through hidden cognitive shortcuts that manipulate perception without our awareness. Confirmation bias, for example, convinces us to see only what supports our existing beliefs, ignoring evidence that challenges them. The halo effect makes a single trait, like attractiveness or confidence, shape our entire impression of a person, creating illusions of competence or virtue that may not exist. Availability bias tricks us into overestimating the importance of vivid or recent experiences, skewing our sense of probability and judgment. The shocking part is that these biases are not occasional. They are constant, invisible architects of our social reality. They determine who we trust, who we elevate, and who we dismiss, reinforcing hierarchies and shaping collective beliefs. Entire social systems, from workplaces to communities, are subtly structured by these unconscious errors in judgment, often perpetuating unfairness or inequality without anyone realizing it. Even when we believe we are rational, careful, and fair, these cognitive distortions quietly influence our choices, guiding our alliances, evaluations, and moral assessments. Recognizing that our mind constantly deceives us is unsettling, but it also offers a rare opportunity. By becoming aware of these biases, we can challenge assumptions, question snap judgments, and begin to interact with others more consciously, breaking free from the invisible chains that control how we perceive and respond to the social world. Psychology reveals a startling reality. Social life operates like a complex economy where attention, recognition, and validation are the currency, and everyone is constantly trading without even realizing it. Every like, comment, compliment, or glance carries weight, shaping status, influence, and self-perception in ways that often feel invisible but are intensely real. Humans are wired to seek belonging and approval, and this drive can be so powerful that it overrides logic, authenticity, and personal values. In modern digital life, this system is amplified exponentially. Social media platforms turn attention into measurable wealth, rewarding visibility, performance, and conformity over genuine connection or truth. The shocking part is how easily this invisible economy manipulates behavior. People curate identities, perform roles, and adjust opinions, not because they truly want to, but because attention and approval are being spent and earned constantly. Even offline, in workplaces, schools, or social groups, this economy shapes relationships, hierarchies, and cooperation. Every smile, gesture, and conversation is filtered through the lens of who is watching and what they might think, often unconsciously. The pursuit of attention can lead to both incredible creativity and devastating anxiety, as social value becomes a relentless metric that the mind cannot escape. Understanding this invisible economy exposes the delicate and often fragile mechanisms driving human behavior, revealing that much of what we believe to be personal choice is, in fact, influenced by the relentless quest for social validation and belonging, a force that governs interactions far more than conscious reason or moral intent. Psychology exposes a terrifying vulnerability in human groups: collective rat. Finality is fragile, easily shattered by social pressure, conformity, and groupthink. While we like to believe that groups are wiser than individuals, the truth is often the opposite. When people gather, the drive to belong, to avoid conflict, and to align with the majority can overwhelm critical thinking. Decisions that might seem obvious to a single person can spiral into disastrous outcomes when filtered through the invisible forces of consensus and social expectation. The shocking reality is that even highly intelligent, well-informed groups can make catastrophic mistakes simply because individuals suppress doubts, ignore evidence, or prioritize harmony over truth. This fragility is amplified in high-stakes environments, corporate boards, political committees, or even online communities, where the fear of standing out or challenging the prevailing opinion can prevent rational debate. Social pressures act like invisible chains, directing collective behavior in ways that are unconscious yet incredibly powerful, shaping policies, reputations, and outcomes. Groupthink, the desire for unanimity, and the subtle influence of dominant personalities can all conspire to override individual judgment, creating scenarios where irrationality prevails despite the presence of capable minds. Understanding this fragility is both sobering and crucial. It highlights why societies, organizations, and communities often fail despite the best intentions, and why vigilance, dissent, and structured deliberation are essential for healthier decision-making. Awareness of these dynamics allows us to recognize the invisible currents shaping collective choices, empowering us to intervene, question, and foster environments where rational thought can survive the pressures of conformity. In conclusion, the psychology of social life reveals that much of what we believe to be rational thought is actually shaped by intuition, emotion, and hidden biases. Our brains constantly navigate a complex web of social cues, mental shortcuts, and group pressures, often influencing decisions before we are even aware of them. Understanding these invisible forces empowers us to make more conscious choices, foster authentic relationships, and navigate social dynamics with clarity. By recognizing the role of emotion, the impact of cognitive biases, and the fragility of collective reasoning, we can challenge assumptions, embrace self-awareness, and create healthier, more thoughtful communities. Good luck on your journey to understanding the hidden mechanics of human behavior. May this knowledge guide you to make wiser decisions, build stronger connections, and live a life shaped by insight rather than autopilot. Thank you for taking the time to explore the fascinating depths of the human mind. Your curiosity is the first step toward mastering the art of social life.